So the last thing that we want to do is that we're going to, just like any other example that we did in class, is that we're going to put these drawings in the right paper size, right? So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to draw a rectangle. This time, I don't care about the first base point. I can click anywhere because I can move this object put it in the right place. So I'm going to use this point, clicking on this point, and for the dimension, I'm going to use the @ sign. So it's going to be relative dimension, and I'm going to put 11 feet for one side, and the other side is going to be 8.5 feet. Okay, I'm going to select this and put it in the right layer border. Okay, now I know I did my calculation before, so I know that in order to this drawing to be in the right paper size, I have to scale this 4 times. So I'm gonna select this object, so I'm gonna use a scale by selecting this object and using this reference point and put the number of 4, not 4 feet, just 4. It's the scale factor. And I'm gonna scale this 4 times. Now what I want to do is that I want to put this drawing in the center. So I'm going to use the move tool, right? Move. I'm going to move this object. Pressing a space, I'm done with this stage. So I'm going to pressing a space, going to the next. I'm going to use the base, specifying the base point. Just like what we did before, I'm going to hold Control and right click, and this menu show up. So this is the list of different snap that I can use. So you're not bounding to use just this meet between 2 points. You have all these options that you can choose. So that basically override the rest of the existing object snap setting in the AutoCAD. So I'm going to use meet between 2 points, and then I'm going to select this corner and this corner. For the second one, again, I press Control, hold the Control, and right click and click on meet between 2 points again. And this time I'm going to use this point as my reference, and zoom out and zoom in on this one and use this one. Okay, looks perfect, right? The only thing is that I want this to be a little on this side, so I'm going to use the move tool and I'm going to move this a little bit in this direction. Give me enough space for typing my name and everything. Looks very good. Alright, so now I'm using the offset in order to give my drawing a border. So I'm going to use 5" as my border. 5 inches looks good. Alright, so let's give the drawing a placeholder to put our information up. So I'm going to use line tool. I'm going to go over this corner, making sure this highlighted, and then using the snap tracking and move my mouse somewhere here around 3 feet, right? So I'm going to use 3 feet, and it's pressing enter. So that's going to be my first point. So this time, instead of going all the way up, I want you to stop somewhere here. Okay, and press escape. Okay. So let's put this object in the right place. So I'm going to put it in the right layer. And you know what? Before we move forward, I want to move the whole thing a little bit to the left. So I'm going to select move the object. I'm going to select all these objects, and I'm going to move them a little bit to this side, so it's not going to be very attached to the other side. This looks better. Okay. Now that I draw the line up to here, I want to introduce another very helpful tool for you. So remember, we talked about the trim. So basically the trim, find 2 lines and connect those 2 lines together, right? There is another very helpful tool which is called extend. So the extend is basically use a reference line and extend the existing line to that reference line. So let's try and see what does that mean. So I can access to trim or extend by this drop down menu in the modify section, or I can just type extend EX and access to that command. So the first thing it asks me is that asks me about the object that I want to use as a reference. So I can use one object, I can use multiple objects. So I'm going to select the second inside border. Okay, and I'm pressing enter. So now that's all set. What I have to do is that I go over to the other object. See, whenever I uh, over that object, it's automatically show what's going to happen. So basically that line is finished here. If I click on it, that's going to extend that line to this. This command is actually by default it's a multiple command, so you can run this over and over again. So for example, if I want to connect this line to the end of this border, I can do that. So you can have as many as reference object as possible, and you can connect all the lines to those reference line. So let's go ahead and try what I meant by multiple objects. So I'm going to draw a line here, one line here, another line here, another line here. Okay, let's draw one line here. Okay, so now I want to draw the extend tool. So I'm going to go over and type extend, and instead of selecting one object, I'm going to select two objects as my reference. So I'm going to select these two as my reference. Now I press space and I'm going to go over selecting the object that's supposed to be extended. So see, if I move my mouse to this object, it's automatically attached to this. So I can click here, and still those two reference line is active, so I can extend this line to this line as well. Also, what I can do is that when these objects are active, actually this one is not going to let me do that. So that's the basic of this, right? So the difference that it has, if you notice, if we wanted to do the trim, so I'm gonna press escape and getting